to attach this piece of leather to the pocket. Okay, so to do it you have to mark the reference point to have the position for the pocket. Okay, to do it, take the inner flap netto sides, the pattern, and place it onto the back panel here. Okay, and then here you can see the edge of the pocket, 1.5 centimeters in, and then mark this position here on the edge of the inner flap. Okay, you have to mark 1.5 in. This dot is 1.5 in. Okay, look at the position of the edge of the pocket and mark this reference point here. Okay, then the inner flap. Okay, this part is the part that you have already skyped, okay, by machine. Bottom is this one. Okay, you have to attach this edge here. So turn, okay, mark a dot so it's visible from the back, and turn the piece of leather. Okay, place the pattern in the center. Okay, here the two edges of the leather and the pattern have to be aligned, and then here mark with a silver pen. Okay.
That was the pocket, right?
And?
That was the line of the inner pocket.
Sì.
Okay, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, from here, mark it here. If you want to attach, leaving the pocket on the table and doing this, mark this side. Okay, so if you want to leave the pocket on the table, you need to mark here. Okay. Okay, you can or attach it or this way.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, here and on the edge of the inner pocket, inner flap. And then here. This edge has to be aligned to this dot, not the edge of the zipper, this one.
The edge of the pocket has to be aligned with it.
Yes. Because when I mark this and I look at the edge of the pocket, not the zipper.
That's
the
where
zipper is more inside, is 1 centimeter in. 1 centimeter. Okay. Do this. Okay. I have the mark here. Hammer. Before attaching here, okay? Because here you don't fold, so put a really thin layer of color. You don't need to sand and put the primer. Just one layer of color, okay?
Where?
Yes, here, on the edge of the leather, before attaching the leather. Okay, I'm stitching here to this part, okay? Because when you stitch, at first you have to attach and then stitch. So you catch the leather, the zipper, and the Texon. And you don't have an empty space. This part is strong. When you open the... If you don't stitch this or this piece to the Texon, when you open the bag, this part moves. Okay, so you have to consider the height of the inner flap, this one, okay, and attach this here at this height here. So you cover 5 millimeters of the lining. Okay. Do you remember that I marked the position of the inner flap, but I attached the lining 5 millimeters higher than this reference point. So when I attach the inner flap, I cover these 5 millimeters. Okay? So to do it, cover this part. And I spray. Here, I cover this part and I spray here. I go to spray and I come. And then I attach these 2 dots here on this edge here and here.
How did you get those dots again? Did you use the netto?
Take the
How did you get that reference line?
here.
Oh, you marked it, didn't you? Oh,
Here
the 30.
and here.
Yeah.
And I copied this reference point on the Texon. Okay? And then I attach this part here, from this position, flat. Okay? Because until here, the Texon is flat. But here, I have the curve. So, I turned the piece. You can put the glue here because the spray glue here is not so strong. So just that, and then gently give the shape of the curve. Okay? This way. Close the bag, you don't have the waves. Okay. here is the height of the gusset. Okay, this is the line of the inner flap. This is the height of the gusset. Here, the inner flap is steeper. The gusset arrives here.
Just at the meeting point or above it?
So,
Sorry, where is the gusset?
here, this height
Okay.
is this.
Okay.
Okay, and then cut here and cut straight here. Okay, the same here. Cut here and cut. Skype here. Here. And then glue. Glue here. And glue here. Here, at the height of the leather, cut straight 1 millimeter in and down, angle. The same cuts that you make on the third. Attach the pocket, okay? At first, stitch here, okay? So, from this edge, 2 millimeters and a half, maximum 3 in, and stitch here. And then here, from here to here, and then pull the threads on the back and glue them here. Okay. So when you attach the pocket, okay, you have to fold. Okay, so put the tape here. Here. Fold. then detach it. When you attach the zipper, the pocket, don't place the zipper flat because it's hard to open, okay? But push the pocket a little bit higher. The pocket here is not completely flat, okay? On the back, put the reinforcement tape on the edge of the pocket.
Both edges or just
Sorry? Here. The most important, you need to remember to put the reinforcement tape, it's here, this part, because here when you stitch and this part is flat. You can't open this part of the zipper, so here the stress is not so much. Here the pocket has this movement and the stress is bigger. Okay, so remember to put the reinforcement tape here. Okay, and then when you stitch, start to make the overlap stitch starting from the same height of this stitch, and from here stitch 3 millimeters in. So 1, 2, 3. Continue here. When you arrive here, stitch here, 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 here. Arrive here, turn the piece. If the pocket, if the zipper is closed, open it. So you can, here will be stitched, okay? So you can open the pocket, move this fold, and it's easy for the feet walk here. So stitch here and finish this height. When you arrive here, you can decide, or you make the overlap stitch the same as here, or from here you can continue this way. Arrive here. So, or you make the overlap stitch, or from here, 2 overlap stitches, and then finish here. If you make a triangle, triangle is stronger, okay? Because here the stress is more. Okay. Then, on the back, make a knot really tight. Now, Sarah stitches, you can go there, and then I show you how to make the knots.
Here be careful because of the different thickness. So if you want you can go by hand. Grazie. I go 2 times inside again, then 1, 2, 3, and then here I try to catch one of the dots that I have, and then again until here. Okay.
Here. Mark the first dot on Texon 30, here and here, so they are visible on this side, the same on the other panel. Put the double side tape here or the glue, doesn't matter. And then attach this and this 3 millimeters in, stitch all the way, no back stitch. Okay, the same here, from here to here. Okay, in the back, glue. Okay, or cut short, it doesn't matter. Okay. Okay, until here at 11:30, position of the magnet and the loops. Okay, so inner flap, okay, and then choose the magnet that you want to use. We have three kinds. One is really small. Don't use that one because it's too is not strong enough for a bag. It's useful for the pockets, okay, but for the bag use or this kind. Puoi spegnere solo il center. This kind, okay, here. Or okay, attach the magnet. You have to use on the back a piece like this for this kind of a magnet. Okay. Or like this for this other kind, okay? So once you have chosen the magnet, take this piece or this one to mark the position on the flap, on the inner flap. So this is the center, okay, and you have to leave between the edge of this piece and the edge of the flap minimum 1 cm.5. Okay, the center of this piece onto the fold of the pattern, and then from here to here leave 1.5 and then mark the center of the hole. It's important, don't leave 1 cm.5, don't measure the 1 cm.5 from the center of the hole, okay? Not from here to here, but from the edge, external edge of the metal piece until here. Here, you arrive here, you stitch here, and if here you have the magnet too close to the edge, it's not easy to stitch under the machine, okay? This kind of magnet, use this piece, this wheel, and place it here, 1.5, mark the center, and then take the magnet and center, fold the paper and mark a dot 3 millimeters in. Open, and you have 2 dots. Okay, fold the paper, and from the fold I measure 3 and I make the dot. Okay, here. Okay, the process is the same, so place it here, from here to here minimum 1.5, and then mark the center, take this, here you have the holes, okay, these 2 holes, so you can mark here, the center here and the center here, or you measure this distance that is bigger, is 1 cm.1, okay, so the distance between the dots changes, okay, of magnet. So thickness is less than 1 millimeter.
Okay.
Okay, so it doesn't really matter. For example, one here and one here. From here, leave 1 cm.5, but also from here, because you have the same problem. Okay, and then mark the center of the hole, and then mark these 2 dots, okay? The position of the magnet on this pattern, the external, the front panel, netto sides, okay? Start from the flap. When you want to mark the, put this pattern on the table, fold this pattern. This is the flap, this is the curve. So you know that when you assemble the bag, the position of the pieces will be this. Okay, the end of the curve, the line where the curve ends and the flap starts, is aligned to the top of the front panel. Okay, so it means that to find the position of the magnet, I take this pattern number 5. I fold it, I align the fold to the fold of the fold of pattern number 5 to the fold of pattern number 3. And this line, the end of the curve, to the top of pattern number 3. And then I copy the dot, I close, I copy it here. Okay, so I know that I close the bag, the magnet match. Okay. Net on pattern number 3, these 3 lines, okay, have to be on the bottom, not in this way, because if you do this, the position is wrong. Okay, okay, of the magnet. Now, if you want to put the loops, you have to mark the position. So, inner curve. So you have to find the center at first, because you can't put the loop too much here or here, because the bag is straight if the strap is in the center of the curve. Okay, if it's here, you will have something like this. Okay, center of the curve, or you take the ruler, or you can do this. Fold this line onto this other one. Here, the same, and you have the fold. Then the distance of the loops from this edge is minimum 1.5 cm. First, the measurement, the width of your strap, okay? Make it 5, okay? So, I have to mark the reference point, okay? Here, this length is 1.5, okay? Probably here is 1.2, okay? This is 1.2. So, the center, okay, 6 millimeters, 6 millimeters, okay? This is my center, 6 millimeters, 6 millimeters. Then I need to the width of my loop. This is the loop, okay? You already know how to make the loop. So, in my case, here is 1 cm. Okay, so from here, I mark another dot. From this edge, 1 cm more inside. Okay, I move here 1 cm. Okay, when I put the loops, the position of the loop is this one. So I have here the width of the loop, here the width of the strap.
Show one more time.
The loop, the position of the loop is this one. Okay. This measurement is the width of the loop. This distance is the width of the strap. So my loop is here, the strap is here. Because I put the strap this way. This is my strap, I put it here. Okay. I copy the dots on the other side. Okay. Now, magnet. Okay. You have these two pieces. It's a rule. This is on top of the bag, on the flap, with this piece thicker. This other piece, it's here. Okay. Marked the magnet and the loops. And then take this piece, take the pattern, place it here, and mark the position of the magnet, the position of the loops, okay. Now on the back put the reinforcement tape. Here you have to, you can make the dots, okay, here. Put the reinforcement tape. Then take the screwdriver and then put this in the center. You have to put the dot on the center of the screwdriver. Okay. And then cut. And then okay. And then take just this and do this. Then take this piece, place it here, and then hold these two arms. Don't hammer because you could break the magnet inside. Okay, now you part. So take of Texon 30 is enough, a little bit bigger than your magnet. Skive it all around and put the glue around.
Texon 30.
Strike that with hand?
Sorry?
You strike it with hand?
By hand or by machine, it doesn't matter. Okay? And then put the glue here around.
On the skived side.
Doesn't matter because you can then touch it here. Don't put the glue on all the surface because you need of an empty space so you don't see the shape, you don't feel the shape of the magnet. Okay? And this here. Now the loops, this or this. If you have a wider loop, you can move this 2 times. Okay, so this is my measurement. Okay, and when you mark the 2 dots, don't press too much if you use the awl or if you use the silver pen, okay? You have to make the cuts a little bit more inside. So if you want, you can mark the distance, this distance, okay? A little bit close, smaller than the width of your strap. So when you make the cuts are under the strap. Okay? Do you remember when I explained the loops for the second handle? That one with the loops. Okay, I'll explain.
I'll ask you.
This and then the shape of the loops is rounded. So to help this shape, don't cut holding this straight, but a little bit angled. Sorry. Here, put the reinforcement tape.
Before. Going all the way through.
Yes. Okay, and then cut a little bit pointed. Okay, so it's easier. This. Hard to put the loop through the cut. That's it. use the pliers, okay? And then put the other part. And then leave it loose. Take a cardboard, okay, that has the same, doesn't matter the length, but the width is the same as the strap, okay? So you put it here, and then you pull. So it's easier to give the shape to the loop. Okay. Here. And then here. The glue is wet now, so let it dry. And then goes this way. And then hammer. Part, if this part is too thick, it's visible. It could be visible, or you could feel it. No. And then put the glue here. Put the seta. So the two arms of the loop don't move, okay? Cardboard, okay? Place it here and mark the center on the bottom, here and here. Then mark the center here using the hole here, so you can see the dots. The center, and then here to this cut. Sides 5 millimeters in. bottom. Don't put the glue here. Here. Okay. Okay, and then so this part, and then the gusset, the other part, and then the back and the back. It's up to you. It's important that you assemble in the right way. Align the lining to the Texon here, because the lining of the gusset is your netto size. Okay, so the center, and then attach the top. And then align the rest of the lining to the rest of the length.
Lining has to be aligned exactly with the text.
Exactly. Or I attach here, or I attach this other part.
Is it easier to do it that way?
No, I don't know.
How do you usually do it then?
This way.
Okay, good.
But not because it's easier. I don't know. Probably it's easier. I do this. I don't know.
It's easier for you.
Try.
You find another way.
You don't make one bag only. I hope in your life. So one time try away. The other time the other way. And then choose. Oddio, non si attacca. Sto soffrendo anch'io. Let the glue dry.
Yes.
Okay. And then this part here, I make this cut to have a straight edge here. So I start from here. And then you have to start from the center and fixed from the fixed point. I don't know how to say, but si dice così? Okay. And then because in this way, if you attach here and here, you can be sure that all this length goes here. If you start from here and start attaching this way, it's possible that you pull too much. Okay, and the gusset looks too long or too short, no? Depends if you pull or not. Okay, if you start from here and here, you can be sure that you can adjust the gusset onto the structure, And when you arrive here, push the extra in the curve, okay? Here. if you assemble in the right way, you see that the position of the cut is the same as the second dot, the highest dot. Okay, do you remember? Okay, then here check if it's straight. Okay, press this way, and then
If it's not straight.
detach and reattach. If it's not straight, you have to check, you have to detach, reattach, and then you have to understand if it's a problem of the way you assemble, the way you cut, or the pattern. After sometimes you can understand, it depends on the mistake, on the difference, no? But you can understand if the problem is a problem of the pattern or the way you cut.
Can you show the exact point at which the gusset?
There is the lining,
Oh,
okay?
Non è così contento, guarda.
Here. Start folding this way. Here, at first, attach here. Attach. Here. Empty spaces. And fold. And then here, close the holes, the cuts here. Here, try to put the edges of the angle in this position. Okay, not this way is wrong. And if you do it, I show you how to fix the problem.
Which way?
This way,
They need to be flush and then hold
flat,
Ah,
flush.
it at each other.
There. Okay, not here, but here. Okay, you can skive. At first attach and then skive, because the shape of the corner is this one. Okay, so it's possible that one side is underneath to the other one. Okay. And then take the folding stick, check the edges. Here, push to be straight. If I press here, you have to see one super smooth line. one side is if the position is not perfect, use the finger, push the corner out, okay, and with your nail or with the hole from here, push it in, okay, this way. Touch the different. Of the this and then after this clamp here in the curve, with this part. Here, if it's too long, this part, you can cut just a little bit, not too much. Okay, but here is skived, if you remember. Okay, so it's not a really big problem. Okay.
And what
The
was too long about this?
sorry?
What was too long about this?
Around 4 millimeters. Okay, sometimes 4-5 millimeters, because the fold here is around 8, more or less. The cut or skive. Okay. So here try to don't leave the gap here, the cut. It's not to be visible. Cioè, come si dice? Don't leave the. Alright, you have to make a stitch here and here to reinforce this part, because the movement of the bag is this one. Here and here you have a lot of stress, okay? So you have to reinforce it. If you forget to make these 2 stitches, is not a problem. Sometimes you don't see them on the bags, but if you remember to make them is better. So to make these 2 stitches here, put the tape at first. Here. And here. And then you can decide how to make this stitch, or by hand or by machine. It's important that over this stitch, the stitch of the gusset, okay, 2 stitches, so 1 and 2 here. Check the same, catch the same holes, okay. So 1 and 2, okay, no back stitch. If you stitch by machine, you have 2 threads, okay, so in total you have to pull them on the back, okay, and when you put them on the back, you have 4 threads in total. It's not so easy to make a knot, because later you have to make a knot really tight, the same as this one, okay, really tight. It's hard because here you have this, so to make the knot here, use this part of the table, okay, to push. It's harder by machine because it's easy, it's faster to make the stitch, but when you make the knot, it's harder because you have 4 knots from different holes, so the distance makes hard to make the knot, I prefer make this stitch if I have to make one bag only. I prefer to make this stitch by hand. So the stitch by hand, you can do this. You have the 3 holes. Okay, take one thread, do this, and do this. Come si fa? Allora no, loro partono dal centro. Qui vanno qua, dal centro. Quindi così. Allora, try to have the 2 threads in the same holes, in the same hole. Okay, so it's easier. If you make the stitch by hand, one thread that you stitch in this way. Okay, so when you pull the threads on the back, you have 2 threads only.
Like the stitching by hand.
Yes.
Make it at the center.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and so it's easier to make the knot. Try both. You can try one stitch here, the other one here. It's important. It doesn't matter the way you stitch. It's important that that you make the knot really tight. Okay. If you stitch by hand, you have to prepare the holes because you need to prepare the holes here on this structure. So do this using the hole or the machine without the thread. Do this, this. So you have the holes here and you can stitch. Okay.